All right, cool. So let's jump into this thing. So inflammation is one of those things that we always hear, right? It's bad, cool, but like, what the fuck does it actually mean? And how do we measure it? Why do we measure it? So I want to go over with this and show you guys exactly what this means. Some of this stuff we kind of started to go over with the sleep presentation that we did, where we kind of saw how disruptive it could be and what it actually does. But the one thing I want to go over today is high sensitivity C-reactive protein. So this is one of the markers that we look at, and it's really important. It's one of the probably one of the, if I had to choose two markers to ever look at for myself, it would be this and ApoB. Everything else I can kind of muster through, but these are the guys that I would really want to keep a strong pulse on. So we're going to go over high sensitivity CRP, what it is, why it's important, especially as it comes to body composition. And these are all peer-reviewed studies that I'm getting this data from, okay, which I'll also show you at the end in case you want to check them out. So think of inflammation as the dashboard light, right? So it's kind of like you're driving a car, boom, dashboard light comes on, like, fuck, something's up. This is basically what your CRP is, okay? Now, the one thing is that you guys may not realize is you may have seen CRP on one of your blood panels before, okay? So sometimes there's some things like rhythm, or even if you get it from your doctor, sometimes you go to a hospital, they'll check CRP, but there is a difference with what we check. We are checking something called high sensitivity C-reactive protein. Okay, some panels only look at regular CRP, so it's missing that little HS in the front. Regular C-reactive protein only catches major inflammation. This is like infection, surgery, illness. It's completely useless for us in terms of understanding body composition and just metabolic dysfunction. Okay, regular CRP is what they look at when you have, again, a huge infection, huge recovery from illness, or like Lyme's disease. They'll look at it, but it only detects things that are really, really bad, essentially. High sensitivity C-reactive protein catches the slow burn, so to speak, that little fire that we want to put out that's building and building. Okay. That's due from visceral fat, poor sleep, junk food, poor training strategies that your body's not recovering from. Those things is what we can actually measure and look at with high sensitivity C-reactive protein. Okay. Regular C-reactive protein only measures above 3 milligrams per liter. Okay. That's already way too high for us. That means there's already way too much wrong. What we want your high sensitivity C-reactive protein to be is less than 1. All right, this is good. Okay, this means no dashboard lights on. 1 to 3, something's up. Okay, metabolically, something is up, and you're already dealing with a negative repercussion as it comes to muscle and fat loss and metabolic performance. Over 3, something's really wrong. This is why when they look at regular CRP, when they suspect some sort of huge issue, some big illness, some inability to recover from surgery, that kind of thing, they'll look at your CRP. Okay, but we don't want to look at just over 3. We want all this stuff. Okay, because that's where the metabolic dysfunction lives, and that's what affects muscle and composition the most. All right, so a couple really interesting things here. So C-reactive protein predicts heart disease better than cholesterol. Now, if you guys have heard me talk about ApoB, you'll understand why cholesterol isn't really what we look at all. Okay, but it is interesting that C-reactive protein is actually even better than LDL cholesterol and your regular cholesterol panel would be. So again, we don't look at cholesterol panels for this reason. We look at ApoB, which is the atherogenic causing agent. It's the guy that's actually bad. It's the guy that will kill you, basically. LDL, regular cholesterol, it doesn't really matter. Cholesterol itself matters a lot less than you think. But very, very interesting that it was way more of a predictor of heart disease and who had a heart attack than your cholesterol was. So it's very interesting. Now, there's a couple of things that are really interesting here too, as well, as it comes to body composition. This is where we start understanding why inflammation can matter. So if you look at the research, they look at grip strength. So you'll see grip strength used a lot in data, and it's not necessarily because we care so much about grip. It's because it's easy to test. So it's the easiest strength metric to test. All you have to do is clamp your hand, right? So they can control the most variables. They can do it anywhere. They can get a huge sample size population doing this. You can't get everybody to do a back squat, right? Not only is that really expensive because you would have to have all of these labs in gyms, you'd have to bring people to the gyms, but now you'd have to have them go to the same depth with every single squat. Otherwise, it can't be evened out squat to squat, right? There's so many variables with things like that it's really hard to test. Grip strength, though, is very, very, very easy. And it's a good predictor of overall strength. Because again, neurologically, you're recruiting muscle groups in your arm to fire and to close really and grasp your hand really tight. Okay. So it actually is a really good predictor of overall strength. That being said, they looked at high inflammation and its correlations with strength. And as your C-reactive protein goes up, your muscle and grip strength goes down. So you are at 2 to 3 times higher odds of losing grip strength if your C-reactive protein was high. People had drops of over 3+ kilograms of their grip strength with their C-reactive protein being high, which is quite high. That's like 6, 7, no, like 7 pounds ish. Why can't I read this? Can you guys see this, or is this my? Does it look normal to you?
Yeah, it looks normal.
All right, hold on. Something's fucking up. Let's, hold on, guys.
Devin's losing his eyesight
Yeah, it
mid-call.
just went like rainbow on me. You guys didn't see that? That was just me.
It's just you.
What the fuck? Okay, hold on. Stand by. Oh, convulsing over here. What the? All right, let's try it again.
It wouldn't be a call without you having a problem.
Oh shit. Okay. Anyway, well, so the point of this is that having your C-reactive protein, as they looked at the research here, and they followed these people over, I think it was a decade, 2 decades over time. What they found was that as inflammation was high, the more exponentially these things decreased. Okay, so if your inflammation was low, your grip strength and your holding strength and your overall grip capacity, which again is the marker of just your overall strength and muscle, stayed the same or generally was untouched. It went down by a little bit. If your inflammation was high, it went down by a lot of it. Okay. The point of that is to say that inflammation isn't necessarily. It's the same argument that you can make with obesity. So sometimes this is a little sidetrack, but I think you guys will get what I'm saying. Some people have made the argument that being obese isn't necessarily unhealthy because there was some research where people were obese and didn't have metabolic dysfunction yet. But the issue with that is understanding that it's not a static problem. It's a dynamic problem that compounds over time. So if you're, let's say, obese right now and your marker, your insulin sensitivity is okay, that doesn't mean that it will be in 5 years, right? So over time, things get worse and they compound. And C-reactive protein to muscle and strength is just that, the exact same kind of thing. So why does this actually happen? So what does inflammation do? So number one, we get chronic inflammation, which again we can only measure with high sensitivity C-reactive protein because it can get to a very low amount. You can literally measure up to 0.1 of high sensitivity CRP, so you can understand these if you have chronic inflammation or not. So high sensitivity CRP is up. Okay, you'll get this chronic inflammation. This activates a whole bunch of different pathways. Not that you have to really understand them too much, but one that's really important is IL-6 or interleukin 6. It's a stress hormone. This guy, the reason why he's important is because he is the guy that's summoned, so to speak, to adapt to exercise. He's the guy that when you're working out and you're doing strength work and the muscle tears, he's the one that tells everybody to go to the muscle to repair it. Okay. Now, if chronic inflammation is elevated, then the build signal, the increase of muscle, which is coming from mTOR, not that you have to understand what that is either, but mTOR is the pathway that builds muscle. This is where muscle protein synthesis comes from. Okay, mTOR is the guy that makes it happen. Okay, he's the one that flips the switch that increases your muscle protein synthesis. Okay, that is highly suppressed when inflammation is on. Okay, and this namely has to do with IL-6. The way that he's reacting to workouts changes if you have this much inflammation. And so that build signal is then suppressed. mTOR is silenced. That's not all, though. The breakdown signal is also turned on. So it's two different things, right? So it's suppressing mTOR, which is trying to signal your body to create muscle, and then the signal to turn or to strip away muscle is turned on. Okay, so for both of these reasons, you get less muscle from the same work. Meaning that if you're working out just as hard now as you were last week, but your C reactive protein is high, then you may be getting half of what you were getting last week. Okay, it's a pretty big deal. This is very similar to if you guys watch the whole sleep presentation, where like just 40 minutes off of sleep can decrease muscle protein synthesis by like 20%. This is the same kind of thing. Okay. Um, so, in plain English, when your body is chronically elevated or inflamed, the same protein, the same training builds less muscle. The way that I try to describe this to people is it's like, think about a forest that's on fire, right? Or actually, just think about a forest, right? And there's one tree in that forest that you want to be able to see, that you want to find, okay? If you lit that tree on fire, you would be able to find that tree very easily, right? It's a whole forest. You lit that one tree on fire, you're going to be able to find that tree pretty easily, right? You're going to be able to send all of your resources to that tree and go find it, right? Cool. Now imagine that tree is on fire, but the entire forest is also on fire. Okay. It's going to be really hard to find that one tree in a forest of trees that are all on fire, right? This is essentially how your body reacts to inflammation. If you have low steady inflammation, low chronic inflammation, CRP level is low, then when you purposely cause inflammation from a workout, good inflammation, but you cause that inflammation, your body's going to be easily able to see it and respond and send resources to it to recover it and to grow that muscle, right? If on the other hand, your entire body's on fire and there's inflammation everywhere, even if it can see that signal, it's going to have to spread its resources so thinly that whatever it can get there is not going to do nearly the job that it would be able to do otherwise. Does that make sense? Okay. So when you have this chronic state of high inflammation, it's really messing with your body to increase in muscle. So this was really interesting. So this was a study with rats. So they did a study with rats where they had basically highly inflamed rats and non-inflamed rats. I don't know what they did to these fucking rats, but I'll just read it straight up. So before, the old inflamed rats showed zero muscle protein synthesis bump after a meal. So rats were inflamed, CRP was high. They would have them train, do their gym rat routine, back and buys probably, but I guess. And then they would eat a meal and they would measure the muscle protein synthesis response after that meal. Okay. There was zero response. So rats are getting a pump, they do their workout, they eat their food, no increase of muscle. Okay. After 5 months of lowering the inflammation, they saw a 24% rise in muscle building. The same rat, same gym pump, same post workout rat meal, but now getting a 24% increase to muscle. I'm just thinking about a rat, just nailing it. Oh man, that's huge. All right, 24%. So think about working out and then eating and having nothing happen, and then doing the exact same thing. The only difference is that your C reactive protein is low, and now you just increase muscle protein synthesis by 24%. Whoa, guys, that's huge. That's massive. Like that's the equivalent. I'm pretty sure taking like really high dose steroids would give you the same effect. I'm pretty sure you can increase muscle protein synthesis just laying down by taking steroids, and it'll be about a quarter, like 25%. So that's like the equivalent of taking steroids just by having your inflammation down. It's crazy. But yes, they also did this in humans. So it's enough for the rat pump. Let's get to the normal people. So 8 weeks of fish oil. Okay, so this is one of the biggest things that you can do to decrease your C-reactive protein if it's high. And so if that was one of you guys and you had your CRP that was high, then you're definitely taking fish oil. Also probably curcumin, but it's a different thing. But in this case, 8 weeks of fish oil, so 4 grams a day, which is actually a lot. 2 grams is usually the standard dose, so they kind of really went for it there. But then the researchers gave them amino acids plus insulin. This is to mimic a meal. Their muscles fired back 50% harder than before. So they had a huge, 50% higher response to their meals after strength training, which is crazy. So the response that your body has, I think the best way to think about this is just to think about that forest, right? It's like if you have that one tree that's on fire and you can send all your resources to that one tree, the amount of recovery or the amount of energy that you can give that tree is going to be a lot higher than if the whole forest is on fire, right? All we're doing here is it's not necessarily that you know fish oil is a miracle that increases your strength by 50%. All it's doing is calming the other fires so that your body can actually see the inflammation caused by the workout and repair it. Okay, which is the whole point. That's the whole reason why we're working out is to cause that damage that we can repair. But if there's so much damage everywhere, we can't really just look at that one area, right? Um, so there's some other interesting aspects here. Visceral fat is also tightly correlated to your C-reactive protein, your high sensitivity C-reactive protein. And what they've seen is that by lowering, two things. By lowering your C-reactive protein, visceral fat also lowers. And then the opposite is also true. By increasing your visceral fat, high sensitivity C-reactive protein also goes up. They're pretty tightly correlated, which is interesting. So the point of that is just to say that if you want to be able to lose fat most effectively and most efficiently and increase muscle most efficiently, then you're severely working against yourself if your high sensitivity C-reactive protein is elevated. This is very rare for biomarkers, right? So like typically when we look at muscle increase and fat loss, there's not many biomarkers that actually make a big difference, right? A lot of biomarkers are more health related, and obviously that's important. But when it comes to increasing muscle and adapting from exercise, there's very few markers that actually will get in the way and impact. There's very few research on markers like this that can actually exponentially increase your muscle mass and decrease your fat mass with training stimulus and food being equal. Remember, like in those studies, like what they were eating, what they were working out, everything was the same. The only thing that was different was your C-reactive protein, and it made almost a 50% increase difference in strength. It's insane. So when we get into the genes of all of this stuff, there's some interesting stuff. So, and we've, if you guys had the consult already and you looked at and your CRP was high, then you'll probably see these listed if you had an effect allele on them, meaning that if you had this variant that was negatively affected. So C-reactive protein itself has a gene. So there's a C-reactive protein gene. And if you have a negative variant to this, then you're already 25 to 30% higher. You have basically a C-reactive protein set point that's going to be much higher than somebody else. So I have this, for instance. And so for me, in order for me to get my C-reactive protein less than 1, I'm going to have to work a lot harder than somebody who does not have that negative gene variant. All right. Because my guy's already pumping out C-reactive protein more than he should, just genetically. Okay. So this right here again is it's a way that we use genomics to understand what's going on. If we look at your high sensitivity C-reactive protein and we see that it's a 3, and like holy shit, that's really high. Then we look at your genes to understand why it's there. And if you have this gene, then that alone can help explain why it's so high. Right. So what does that mean? That means that the supplements that I'm going to be taking, I'm probably going to take forever. Like I'm probably going to take fish oil forever because again, if everything was normal, I would still be 30% higher than somebody else. Right. And I already saw what that could do to muscle. So IL-6 is one of the guys that I mentioned before. This is the inflammation signal, right? So this is the guy that comes and signals that there's a problem with the muscle. We just tore it to pieces. Let's recover this thing, right? So if he has a negative variant, then the ability for him to do that is also going to be compromised, right? And then the FADS genes are interesting. So the omegas, so omega-3s, fish oil, which everybody's kind of familiar with, when you eat, so you'll see that some foods like flaxseed, for instance, has omega-3s in them, right? But it's a different type of omega-3. Alpha linoleic acid is what you eat from like flaxseed. That has to be biotransformed into EPA, which is what you actually get from fish oil. If you have these genes, these FAD genes, you can't do that conversion. So you could be eating omega-3s from plant sources and getting absolutely fucking nowhere and not having it impact your C-reactive protein at all. So this is like sometimes you get like vegans who are eating who are eating flaxseed and all this stuff, and their C-reactive protein's high. And it's like, well, cool. Your C-reactive protein's always going to be fucking high unless you have fish oil, because you can't actually convert that omega-3 source, right? So, like, again, if we're looking at these guys and we're trying to influence them, we're trying to lower your inflammation, one of the things that we need are omega-3s, but you need that specifically, most likely, from fish and fish oil, and not necessarily from your food, dependent on that gene. Some of these other guys, PPR, and Jesus, FKB. Christ. There's also some other ones I didn't put on here, but the overall trend is still the same. There's just high correlations to these genes and what they're influencing and why your CRP could be higher than it should be. But either way, the fix is the same, which we'll go over here. So here's the biggest levers of controlling your high sensitivity C-reactive protein. Number one, visceral fat. So again, there's a huge correlation with visceral fat, abdominal obesity, and C-reactive protein. So if you could lose the visceral fat in general, but especially visceral fat, that will lower your C-reactive protein a lot. So, like, not to like judge people, but if you know anybody or you have family members that have like the belly, like just that belly in the front, but like the distended belly, but it's not like gut distension, it's fat, but they have the fat in their stomach, that's visceral fat, right? It kind of looks like they, ate a basketball or something, right? That's all visceral fat. That blows up that stomach. Sometimes it even feels like hard. You can almost guarantee that they have very high C-reactive protein. It's very tightly correlated. Visceral fat is very dangerous for a lot of things. This is one of the reasons, because your C-reactive protein will be very, very high. So training itself, so working out actually does lower your C-reactive protein. It increases it acutely. So right after the workout, it will go up because, again, inflammatory signaling. You go to the thing, you repair it. But overall, the more you work out, the more it lowers your C-reactive protein. Okay, so it's kind of like it increases a little bit, but it goes down unproportionally than it increased. So if like it goes up +2, it'll go down like -3, right? So like overall, it's anti-inflammatory, but it's inflammatory in the moment, which is supposed to be. So again, training influences or decreases your C-reactive protein. Fish oil, probably the biggest thing. Fish oil is the best. It restores muscle response dramatically. It does a lot for your body. Again, even if you're trying to get omega-3s in, I would highly recommend fish oil. If you're unsure if you have the FADS gene variant, just let me know and I can tell you. But I would assume that you do, because just take fish oil anyway. You're probably not going to get enough omega-3s from flaxseed anyway. Sleep, of course. Here we are again. Having inadequate sleep greatly influences your C-reactive protein. Okay. Drinking like crazy also does. Avoiding alcohol will decrease your C-reactive protein. Having alcohol will increase your C-reactive protein. And then fiber. So another really interesting thing is how much fiber influences C-reactive protein. So there's a lot of inflammatory markers that are found in the gut. There's a lot of genetic markers that control inflammation that are found in the gut that are greatly manipulated based on how much fiber you're taking in. So if you're feeding the good bacteria in your stomach, then that can actually calm and decrease inflammation. Okay, you're arming the good guys with what they need to fight the battle, basically. If you're not getting enough fiber in, or polyphenols, which comes from plants, which are antioxidants, whole foods, then you're not giving your body what it needs. You're going to be at a little bit of a deficit that will increase your C-reactive protein. So put another way, visceral fat, increased CRP, poor sleep, or just irregular sleep. We talked about that in the sleep thing. If you're cycling, your cycles are off. Heavy alcohol, processed foods, periodontal disease. Actually, I did not know that. Acute infection, vaccination, all that stuff will drive up CRP, but this is more known. This is why they look at regular CRP. But these guys are really important. Okay, so if you're looking for things to do, if we did your consultation already, your kickoff call, and your CRP was marked as primary or secondary, you'll notice that the first two things that we did is give you fish oil, and then also give you something called curcumin, which decreases your C-reactive protein. Okay. We also would make your diet bordering on this: all whole foods, fiber, good plant sources, and a lot of anti-inflammatory type foods. Okay, all the trans fats, processed foods, all of that stuff is what's going to drive up your high sensitivity CRP. Okay, and again, it can make a pretty big difference. Okay, if you look back at this, like this is pretty crazy. Like, imagine working out and eating a meal and not having any muscle protein synthesis from it. And then just taking fish oil for a few months to get your CRP to come down. Now that same meal has a plus 24%. It's crazy. Like that's a big, big difference. Okay. So the goal is to get less than one. All right. Less than one. You want to make sure that when we do this testing to this we haven't really mentioned too much, but like if when you do the blood testing, if you have something going on at that time, like you're really fucking sick or ill, then definitely let us know because that could negatively influence C-reactive protein. It could give us a false negative, basically. And then we want to make sure that if you're ever over three, that's a big deal. Okay, that's actually at the point where like you might actually want to go to doctor see what's going on. I've seen some CRPs be really high, and I don't know how some people are living, but um,
That was
but
like my mom's test that just came back. Her CRP was over 18.
yeah, it's crazy high. Crazy, crazy high. So I actually just did. Well, I'll bring up my CRP in a second because I gotta find mine. But just to re-summarize this, okay? Your high sensitivity C reactive protein is kind of like that dashboard light, right? Again, this is not just CRP because that only looks at your blood when it's over 3. Okay, we want to be less than 1. We won't even know that unless you're looking at high sensitivity C reactive protein because that world of 1 to 3 is where that metabolic dysfunction is happening. That's where the muscle decrease is happening. That's where all that stuff is happening. Okay, we want you less than 1. There's a lot of things that influence that, but the same things that we're pretty much doing for everybody: decreasing your fat, um, trying to get the fiber in, eating whole foods, all of those things really, really matter. But when it comes to supplements, fish oil and curcumin are the biggest ones. So if you guys have C-reactive protein that's high, make sure you're taking those supplements because you can literally be adding like 20% muscle protein synthesis to your body. Like the increase, you're getting 20% more out of your strength work just by getting that C-reactive protein to be lower, which is pretty crazy. So, for a couple pills a day, fish oil and curcumin, I think it's worth it to get that 20%. Never mind, not dying and stuff. That's also kind of cool, right? So like not having a heart attack is nice. So a little bonus there. So again, the genes that we're looking at is just the wiring underneath, right? So when we see that blood level be high, we can get influence from those genes, your genomics, understand why that's high, and that may change some of what we're doing, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Now, to give you an example of mine, let me actually pull up. So I have a ton of information. Let me see. Log in here. Does anybody have questions, by the way, while I'm trying to find my labs?
So I have to have some oral surgery on Wednesday. Should I do my blood tomorrow? So because yeah.
Yeah,
And is
definitely.
there any way to mitigate? Because I know that I have to be on a antibiotic. Will they give
Yeah,
it to you? Is there any way to mitigate that it's going to destroy a lot of my really good gut biome?
yeah. Honestly, not too much you can do really during. It's more after. Like
Right.
fiber and stuff is still going to be the best bet because you're feeding the gut. But
Yeah. My
yeah,
fiber. Good.
afterwards, that's when we could probably take probiotics just to restore.
Right.
Yeah, because that will. I mean, what are they giving you? Do you know?
Yes. Well, last time I had it, I had an allergic reaction to amoxicillin, so they're giving me a Z pack.
Okay, yeah, it's not too bad. I'm actually allergic to amoxicillin too.
Well, that was a new one for me. So I was like, what the hell?
Really? Yeah. That wasn't
Yeah.
that the bubblegum shit with like the liquid version of that? Wasn't that the bubblegum medicine?
Yeah.
No.
I think it was as a kid.
Right?
Oh,
As
Wasn't
a
it?
kid, yeah, for strep.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Yep.
I think
And
I
Yeah.
son's allergic.
I had strep like once a month growing up, so I lived on amoxicillin.
all right. Well, I'm taking the thorns, so fish oil. So that's what I take every day.
Yeah, definitely take that. I would say after we can get like on a probiotic just to kind of cheat the gut a little bit, like to get some stuff in there.
Uh-huh.
And then just eat a shit ton of sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is
I
probably
eat
one of the
sauerkraut
best.
every day.
All right, good. Yeah, I mean, you're really
Love
good at your
sauerkraut.
diet, so I feel like you'll be able
Yeah.
to fix that pretty quick.
And I'm pickling. I'm doing fermented beets right now. It's like I have all these beets, so I'm making my own fermented beets. I like fermented food, so
I love
Yeah,
it.
you're good with that. Your gut will be you'll restore pretty quickly.
okay.
Why can't I share? I'm gonna try something. Yeah. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
All right, here I am. You guys get an in-depth look at my soul. So if you look at my C-reactive protein, okay, this is also high sensitivity, but it doesn't say it here. It was originally 2.5. Okay, so you want that less than 1, and I got it down to literally less than 1. Now this was a 5-month difference, but that change happened probably a lot quicker than 5 months. I just didn't check my blood quicker than 5 months. But this is exactly the kind of reaction that you want, right? So this was simply from fish oil and curcumin. My diet did not change. So I was still eating like an asshole when I got my less than 0.9. Okay, so I probably could have gotten that down even more, but I was still having some inflammatory food. But this was purely from fish oil and curcumin. So like what this just did was gave me essentially 20% more out of every workout that I do. Think of it that way, right? 20% more out of muscle protein synthesis, or the ability to increase in muscle just from getting that to where it is. Okay, so it makes a pretty big difference. Never mind the health effect of it and everything else. But these are the things that are, much less understood. I think, we spend a lot of time trying to understand what to do in the gym and how to work out and how to go to failure and all that kind of stuff, which makes a big difference. But then even if you doing all of that, you could have your C-reactive protein be so high that you're taking a fifth out of everything that you're doing and just washing it down the toilet. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. Any questions? Anything out there? You guys can ask questions about anything too, by the way. It doesn't have to be about that.
I actually just looked at mine and I'm at a 0.5, but it's so interesting because I have high cholesterol like my whole adult life. So it's funny, like that's not like this is a number I should look at, but not that. But my ApoB was high.
Yeah, your
So
ApoB.
I'm just a little surprised that like cholesterol and ApoB are high, but this one's not.
Yeah, it's interesting. Were you taking anything like fish oil or anything?
I am now, but at the time of the 0.5, I wasn't because it was
Yeah.
December was my last blood work.
Yeah, you would think that ApoB and C-reactive protein would be kind of tightly correlated.
Weird, right?
Yeah, it's
My
interesting.
CRP is low also, but my ApoB is through the roof.
Yeah, well.
'Cause
Wait, actually, what was your ApoB?
It was like 95, I want to say.
Oh, yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
We'll see what it is on this one.
Yeah, your ApoB reacts really quickly too. That's
Yeah, it took me 6 weeks to get mine down from 115 to like 87.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Lindsay and I are like we're weirdly similar in some of those.
I know, like
yeah.
same. Twinning.
Hi ApoB.
Let's go, Team ApoB. Yeah, it's interesting though because it's I look at C-reactive protein as like the best marker for body composition, like muscle increase, and I look at ApoB as the best marker for health. It's definitely imperfect, but that's the way I would look at it. If I had to
Makes
like
sense.
2 markers. But yeah, that is interesting. I wonder if that has to do with like your saturated fat metabolism more than anything.
Yeah, my saturated fat was all over the place.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got out there? Any other questions? You guys can ask questions about anything too if you want. Doesn't have to be
Well,
about.
I have a personal question, but I don't want to bore everybody, so I'm letting everybody
Yeah,
go
fuck it, go
first.
for it. Unless you feel good.
No, I got my blood work to like the kit today, but you'll see, I think I'm really struggling from like a major cortisol crash over the last couple of weeks, just changing jobs and stuff. Like, I cannot begin to tell you how crappy I have felt because I
What
think like I'm
I
no
thought this
longer in a
was
fight
supposed
or
to be
flight.
less
Oh, it's
stressful
like
though.
so much better. But even like talking to Matt, he agrees. He thinks it's just like my body after over 18 years of constantly being in like a fight or flight firefighter mode. And now, like, just none of that. It's like, it's so amazing. It's so great. But I almost feel like I'm completely crashed. It,
Oh, well, it's
it's
probably because you're not used
wild.
to like not running
I'm
from a
not
fight.
used to calm.
Yeah. You don't know what to do.
Because if work was like semi calm for maybe like a year that I had it calm, my life was a mess, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, like everything is so great.
You
I don't know what this is
private
like.
chaos.
I just am like starving all the time. I'm tired. My joints are swollen. It's like so crazy.
Yeah, your body's just working against you right now.
It
You
really is like I can't function.
you may have been like self sabotaging, but like you may have been causing all the shit that you were doing because you were avoiding this. You know, like a lot of people do a lot of shit and keep themselves really busy and chaotic because they don't want to do what you're doing
That's
right now.
me.
Like, actually sit there with yourself.
Like relax. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I
used
think I'm like handling that in the last 2 weeks. Like you'll see, like I've been having like a really hard time.
But like, what are you
Amazing.
doing? Like, literally, what are you doing? Like, are you like actually just sitting home
Sleeping,
chilling, or like what's happening? Sleeping?
chilling, living life, enjoying myself. And I'm like just wiped. Like I'm struggling. I'm struggling to get up. I'm struggling. I just sleep all the time by like 7:30, 8 o'clock. If I'm home, I'm already in pajamas. I've like unwound for like 2 hours and I'm out like a light
Is
all
like,
the
did he
morning.
change any medication stuff, or everything's the
Nope.
same? So
Everything's
everything
the same. He thinks it's just
variables are
like
the
my
same.
body having like an intense cortisol crash and
I
needing to
think,
recover.
yeah, it's like it's like paying off sleep debt for the last 18 years.
Yeah. So I do, but
No,
it's like
you're feeling
interesting because I'm sure my C-reactive, sorry, is really high, and my cortisol was like crashed. Like even
you just
if
sent
my
you
cortisol.
sent her a test, right?
Yeah, I think she said she
Yeah,
just
I
got
got it, but I don't know
Okay,
when I
cool.
should do it because
Do
I
it
don't know
tomorrow. Do
how.
it now.
it
Thank you.
No,
tomorrow.
definitely do it now because I want to see
Thank you.
exactly what's
Okay,
happening.
okay.
This is the perfect time to do it.
You want me to do it tomorrow? You
Yeah,
said?
definitely do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
will.
It's gonna be good to
I
capture that.
mean, I'm better than I was last week. Like every day's a little bit better, but I had to cut the training in half and stuff like that because I've really been in like not great shape,
I
which
would
is not like me. Usually I can at least push through and like I enjoy the gym. Like I physically feel like I can't even lift.
I think what you're going through is just a really severe version of like paying off sleep debt. Like if you have somebody who doesn't sleep all week, and then on the weekend, like Saturday comes up, and they get to sleep, and so they sleep an extra like 5 or 6 hours. They feel like shit. Like that day, they're gonna feel super tired. They're gonna feel super lethargic. They're gonna feel like crap.
Yeah.
That's because they're paying off like that sleep slash stress debt. You're doing that on like a large scale, so you're pretty much feeling the same thing. It's probably gonna last like a couple weeks, but yeah, nothing different to do. The only thing I would say is just like make sure you actually get a schedule, like a circadian rhythm down. Like
Yeah.
make sure you get a new schedule, like a wake up time, sleep time, and keep that regular because that's how your body's gonna get adapted now. Like if it doesn't have that, it's gonna fucking freak out. Like the only thing that was good about you being so busy was that there was a very clear time of when you got up and your body was synced with that. So if you let that
Yeah.
go, your body's gonna be whoa, it's gonna freak out. So yeah,
It
but
is freaking out.
like you can stick to it. Yeah, stick to it though. Like for good or like get your ass up, when your alarm goes off, I mean, make sure you're actually sleeping enough, like if you have the time. But like
Yeah.
time to get up, like go outside, get into the sunlight immediately. Like just go run outside.
Yeah. And I
And
have
then
my sunlight
actually,
too. I turn that
this
on
is
too.
hold on. I'm gonna put something. Here's what you got to get.
It's like so crazy though. I've done a lot of research about the letdown effect and everything. It's really real. Like, you know, and it comes in all different forms. Like if someone's working a lot or like a deadline and then they're done, they get sick afterwards and stuff. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's
very
basically just
interesting.
like, I mean, the way that I see it is most people put themselves in situations where they're like super, super fucking busy all the time are usually running from something. Usually they're trying to keep themselves really fucking busy to prevent themselves looking in the fucking mirror and dealing with some shit. And then all of a sudden you got to deal with your shit once in a while. This is also what I see with parents. Just throwing shade out there to everybody.
He's making fun of me, everybody. I was
no,
so
but like
busy for 18 years.
you see this with like parents and shit too, where like they'll have kids. It's like, yay, I have kids. And then like before they had kids, they had some shit that they needed to deal with. And then they kind of like had kids. Now they don't have to deal with it because there's so much going on. And then lo and behold, when they're 30,
They fuck up the kids.
and they holy shit, I'm so miserable. It's right. Fuck, I forgot about this. And then like they got to deal with that shit again. So it's kind of like the same thing, probably. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's you, but the shit that you gotta like sit with.
No, I just think like everything else got in the way of like just life. And now I get to finally just live my life for myself. So, you know.
You don't know what that means. That's the thing.
I don't even know. I was like, yeah, like someone asked me today. I'm like, oh, it's like great. I'm trying to figure out what that even means because I'm so used to putting everybody ahead of me.
Yeah.
Now I get to come first for once. And that's like, so, and it's like 20 years of it pretty much. I've been a nurse almost 20 years, you know. If it
But
wasn't
you made
like,
the right fucking choice. So don't
I
even
did. No, everything's great. Like I love it.
don't you go back to that.
I haven't picked my phone up
Lisa,
since
if you
4
go back
o'clock
to that
today.
job, I'm gonna kick
Oh
your ass.
no, I'm done. I was like, I'll go to Trader Joe's before I go back there. So I'm good. It's like it's so much better. But I'm like, oh my God, this is like, yeah, someone called me today. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like reconnecting with myself and like my hobbies and stuff like that. It's like so great.
Yeah, no, you probably don't know what the fuck that is. That's good.
No, I don't even know. It's like so crazy. So that's why I think I'm just in those weeks of like figuring it out and healing.
Though I would definitely make sure you get like the routine down though, because like, you don't want your body falling too much because it's tough on the body to do that. And get this, the link that I just
say
put
it's like an 18-year, like, right? Like it's like an identity crisis almost. And like, even though you're not like upset, you're still grieving because it's like a change in everything. And like what you know, absolutely. It's so interesting. I think that's my psychology degree coming out.
Yeah, no, you're right though. I mean, it makes a big deal. Your body was used to that for so long, good or bad. It was used to it. Now it's not.
Right. That's what it is, and like you don't know any different because that's just what it was.
But now you gotta get a new routine, and it will resync.
Yeah,
this time a lot better. But yeah, no,
they said it takes time. Yeah, it takes time.
And check out what I just put in the chat. So for you guys, this isn't the one I wanted, but if you guys want like a little, hack, this thing is badass. So it basically, what I thought, I don't know if this is the one that you can use your alarm with it or not. I got to find it. But what this does is you block stuff with your phone. So like, it's like a physical brick, right? So it's like actually a thing. Yeah. You can stick it on like a wall or something. And what I would do is stick it outside. So like when your alarm goes off, you can't turn it off unless you touch the phone to the brick.
Oh my God.
You physically touch it. So you have to like pull your ass outside and hit the brick in order to get up.
I get that for my son.
Like this, but this may just be like an app. Like, so for this one, like social media and stuff, if you don't want to view your apps or something for a period of time, you would use it. And when you want to regain access, you literally have to touch the phone to the brick. So you like put the brick somewhere that's like out of the way. It's really cool. But
do you have one of those?
I just bought one actually. But I bought
one for my son. Now he's getting up out of bed.
There is. That's why there's
it's awesome.
There's another one that's like called Flow Brick or something. It's like, fuck, I gotta find it. I know that one is like an alarm. I don't know if you can use the alarm on this one. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The Flow?
No.
No?
Devin, question.
Yeah.
Do we get tested again? One more
Um,
time after
yep, at the
somehow
end.
in between or at the end?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Because I know my inflammation was high, but I already started taking all the supplements.
Fish oil and the curcumin and
Yeah, everything you listed, I got it.
perfect.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, well,
taking the fish oil twice a day, like in the morning and at night.
yeah, you can do that as long as you take 2 grams total for the day. You could split it,
Oh,
or you
two
can have it
grams.
all at once. Yeah, either
Oh,
way,
okay.
it's fine.
All right. The
But yeah, those
curcumin,
are,
I'm taking it at night.
yep,
And
those
I
two
also
are
put like some comments in the sheet.
okay.
May-
Well,
Um, maybe
you
for
want
the
to ask
work.
now, or do you want to wait for the check-in? It's
It
up to you.
doesn't. Up to you. I don't know if the call. You still need to talk about something. I don't want to get in between, or I'm
No, you're
trying not
good.
to text you guys too much because I feel like you guys gonna put me in the dark list. I'm like, Lizzie, don't put me in the blacklist, please.
No,
Texas
we
like,
Like I
we
came
would
Gonna
back.
be
rather
a
you guys
lean
say
I
from
more.
know. She's
Seinfeld.
like, no, it's okay. What do you need? I'm like, okay.
I was like, you're fired.
No,
Yeah. And I'm like, I fired
You're gonna
myself
write
already
in a
because
chart like Elaine from Seinfeld.
I said already like 2 hours before I text you. I'm like, oh my God, I need to do this, but I don't want to text her. Should I wait for the call? Should I not wait for the call? Then I'm
Aw.
like, all right, let me text her. um, if we
let's
can break out better, like the workout day for the upper body, because sometimes
yep.
it's so hard at the gym to get a little
Or
bit
like
upper body and
to
bottom.
use those things, you mean? Like to switch it because those things are taking a lot? Is that what you mean?
If we can have it just like a more as to like one day each, and then I know I'll go, to the gym. I know the bottom since is more concerned, right? The legs and
Wait,
every
I don't know what you mean. What are you asking?
because the workout is like kind of mixed, right? Like the upper body and lower kind of all together in
Yeah.
one day, and then
Yep.
in both days, if we can have it like more split as to
Why?
Like just upper, just lower.
But why?
yes, why? Huh? Because it's like sometimes that way will work better with me in CrossFit because some days in CrossFit we have like just back squats, legs, and things like that. So that day I could just still mix it up and go to the gym and just do the upper body. Since I do the CrossFit,
So you're saying okay.
so I will still try to do.
Okay. So here's actually what I'm thinking instead. I
Mhm,
think if you have I think the full body strength days should
mhm,
take the place of a CrossFit workout and not be added on top. Does that make sense? Number one.
okay. So the gym is separately, like
Yes.
one full day.
Because if you do CrossFit stuff and you're doing the full body strength stuff, your body's gonna have to choose what it adapts to. Like we
Okay.
we don't want any distraction necessarily on the days where you're doing CrossFit stuff from the strength stuff. Like, or put another way, if you're doing the strength, you want your body to fully focus on adapting from the strength. Like what we don't want to do is like have your body do a bunch of burpees and running and shit, and now it's like, oh my god, I gotta get better at endurance stuff, and it's trying to refuel the mitochondria and grow the mitochondria, and it's focusing on that. And then you do strength, like, oh shit, now we gotta increase the muscle, and now you have like $100 to spend, and you just spend 50 on both, right?
Okay.
Instead of spending all of the money on one versus the other. Um, but what I would say also is so that's number one is like full body strength days should be its own thing. And then if you're doing CrossFit classes, that should be its own thing, like two separate things. But to your point, if you're doing a CrossFit day and it's maybe it is a heavier day, like maybe it is more of a strength day,
Yeah,
but
like.
it's biased towards one side, so the upper
Mhm,
body, lower
mhm,
body. Then what we could do is I could give you like a C, a
mhm.
different day, and a version of that day that's upper body focused and a version of that day that's lower body focused. So let's say you
Okay.
go into the gym, you do a CrossFit day, it's mainly upper body and it's
Uh-huh.
strength oriented. Then you could
Uh-huh.
add on the lower body C day to that.
All right.
Make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it does. Like today we had like hot squats, deadlift. That was like the main point going out to like 80%. So, so then what I did is like, okay, I picked the ones on you. I did my CrossFit, whatever. Then after that I went to the gym and I did
Got it.
the rest
Yeah.
of it. Like I worked out in thrusters and
Yep.
the legs part, like all the machines for the legs after the class. And so I thought like, okay, I did the back and I put the strength, carry on to the
No,
gym.
that
But
makes sense. I think that's the way to do it then. I think keep the full body sessions like themselves, like try not to do them on the day where you're doing CrossFit if you can, like try to keep it fully focused on that. But then we can give you two different like half day strengths that you can add on to the CrossFit day.
okay,
So we'll keep it all separate. So we'll have like the
okay.
full body days and then we'll
Mhm.
have like the lower body or the upper body splits that you can add on top
Okay.
of the CrossFit days because that will fix your issue, but it won't take away from like the other days. Does that make sense?
Yep. And the
Yeah.
one exercise I don't feel comfortable with that machine that opens both arms like this.
Which one?
I don't trust myself on that machine. So
That's
maybe
fair.
we can
The
make like
wait,
an
which one?
option for
The
them.
Beijing fly?
Yes, like
Yeah,
those
I got
machines, like I do not feel comfortable.
you.
I feel like, I don't trust myself with that one.
Hey, I
So
get it.
maybe I can get
I
like an
totally get it.
option, with any other. I feel
Yeah, I
like
can
that's the
see
only
that.
machine that I ignore all the time.
Cool. I got you.
Okay. Thank
Don't,
you.
of course. Absolutely. Good question too.
I'm gonna stop the recording.
Oh, it's still recording? But,
I think. I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, it is.
oh yeah, it is. You can always no, what the fuck?